Did you ever walk outside in the morning, coffee in your hand, excited to check your tomatoes, and find them completely covered in aphids? They weren't there yesterday, but today, every leaf is crawling. You pick them off one by one. You spray soapy water. You think you've won. And 2 days later, they're back. Here's something most people don't realize. The solution isn't expensive. It isn't chemical. And it's probably already sitting in your kitchen. But if you use it the wrong way, you can burn your plants and make the problem worse. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. The right measurements, the right timing, and the 3 mistakes that quietly ruin most gardens. And here's why most fixes fail. Most home remedies don't actually kill the bugs. They just tick them off. Hand picking never gets the eggs. Chemical sprays cost too much, can be toxic, and over time the insects build resistance. But there's one simple ingredient, something probably sitting in your spice cabinet, that, when combined with 2 other items in the right proportions, creates what I call a protective shield. It kills pests on contact and keeps new ones away for 5 to 7 days. Let me explain how it works. The secret weapon is garlic powder. Yeah, I know. Garlic? Seriously? That's it? Yep. And here's why it succeeds where everything else falls short. Garlic contains a compound called allicin. This stuff is deadly to soft-bodied insects like aphids, mealybugs, whiteflies, and even ants. It breaks down their outer coating and causes them to dry out and die fast. But allicin doesn't just work on contact. It leaves behind an invisible layer on the leaves that keeps new insects from landing. It's like hanging up a no-vacancy sign that bugs can actually smell from a few feet away. And the best part? When you use it correctly, it's safe for people, pets, bees, and beneficial insects. Now, here's the important part. If you just sprinkle garlic powder straight onto your plants, you're going to run into trouble. You need the right liquid to carry it, something to help it stick, and the correct measurements. We've seen this work in hundreds of home gardens across different climates, with consistently strong results. So stop for a second. Grab a pen. I'm not kidding. Write this down because you'll want to mix this up tonight. You only need 3 ingredients. First, 1 quart of dechlorinated water. That's regular tap water that's been sitting uncovered for 24 hours so the chlorine can evaporate. Chlorine destroys the beneficial compounds in garlic, so skipping this step isn't an option. Second, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. Not garlic salt, not fresh cloves, just plain garlic powder from the spice aisle, the cheap stuff. Third, 1 tablespoon of mild dish soap. It needs to be clear or light yellow, unscented, and gentle. This works as a surfactant, meaning it helps the mixture stick to the leaves and the insects instead of sliding right off. Now, let me tell you exactly how to mix it. Start by pouring 1 quart of dechlorinated water into a bowl or pitcher. Next, add 1 tablespoon of garlic powder straight into the water. Stir it steadily for about 2 to 3 minutes. You want it fully blended with no lumps floating around. Now mix in 1 tablespoon of mild dish soap. Gently stir for another minute until everything turns into one smooth, even solution. Pour that mixture into a spray bottle. And here's something important. Don't strain it. Those tiny bits of garlic actually help kill the pests. At this point, your spray is ready to go. But if you use it at the wrong time of day, you can seriously damage your plants. Let me help you avoid that mess. This is where most folks mess up. They've got something powerful in their hands, and they waste it with bad timing or poor technique. I'll walk you through the right way to apply it, and then I'll cover the 3 mistakes that can wreck your garden. Here's how to spray it correctly. Hold the bottle about 8 to 12 inches away from the plant. Mist the tops of the leaves until you see small droplets forming. Then, and this part really matters, flip each leaf over and spray the underside. That's where about 80% of aphids and mealybugs hang out. They sit underneath, protected, while people only spray the top. Make sure you also spray the stems, the soil around the base, and even the rim of the pot if you're using containers. Now, let's talk about the big mistakes. Mistake number 1 is spraying in erect sunlight. If you apply this between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., when the sun is blazing, the garlic oils combined with strong UV rays can scorch the leaves. You'll see brown spots, crispy edges, and more damage than the bugs caused. The right time to spray is early morning, between 6 and 8 a.m., or later in the afternoon, around 4 to 6 p.m. The sun should be low, the air cooler, and your plants will absorb the solution without getting burned. Mistake number 2 is only spraying the tops of the leaves. Remember, most pests live underneath. If you skip that part, you're only solving a small piece of the problem. The rest will survive, multiply, and come back worse. Always spray both sides. Lift every leaf. Yes, it takes a couple extra minutes, but those 2 minutes decide whether this works or fails. Mistake number 3 is spraying once and thinking you're done. Here's what people forget about insect life cycles. When you spray today, you kill the adults. But eggs are still there, and they'll hatch in 3 to 5 days. If you don't spray again, you'll have another outbreak next week. Here's the right plan. Spray 3 times total. Day 1 kills the adult bugs. Day 6 wipes out the newly hatched ones. Day 11 clears out any leftovers and builds your protective barrier. After that, you're usually set for 2 to 3 weeks. If you follow just those 3 rules, you'll already be ahead of 90% of gardeners. Now, let's talk about different plants, because not all of them should be treated the same way. If you're growing fruit trees in containers, citrus, figs, peaches, spray the leaves, the fruit, everything. It's safe to spray developing fruit as long as you rinse it well before eating. Apply it every 7 days during the growing season. Quick tip: stop spraying 3 days before harvest so your fruit doesn't pick up any garlic flavor. If you're growing leafy greens like lettuce, kale, spinach, or Swiss chard, go lighter. Those leaves are delicate and can get waterlogged easily. Use a fine mist, not a heavy soak. Spray every 5 days, and always wash your greens thoroughly before eating, even though the mixture is food safe. If you're dealing with roses, hibiscus, or other flowering ornamentals, you can bump up the strength a bit. Use 1½ tablespoons of garlic powder per quart of water. Spray the buds, blooms, and leaves. It won't hurt flowering. Apply every 5 to 7 days during pest season. For large in-ground garden beds, tomatoes, peppers, squash, you'll want to scale up the recipe. Mix 5 quarts of water with 5 tablespoons of garlic powder and 5 tablespoons of dish soap. Use a pump sprayer or hose end sprayer so you get good coverage. Spray from the bottom up, making sure to coat the main stem and the soil around the base. Apply it every 7 days, or right after a heavy rain, since rain washes away the protective layer. If that's all you did, just the spray and proper timing, you'd already solve most infestations. But if you want to keep pests from coming back at all, here's the next level. First strategy: plant companion herbs. Aphids, whiteflies, and other soft-bodied insects hate the smell of mint, basil, cilantro, and lemongrass. Plant those around your garden or in pots near vulnerable plants, and you create a natural defense line. I keep mint near my tomatoes and peppers, and I haven't had a serious aphid issue in 2 years. Second strategy: inspect new plants like you're a detective. Most infestations start with something you bring home from the nursery. It might look healthy, but it could be carrying eggs or young pests ready to explode once they settle in. Before adding any new plant to your garden, isolate it for a week. Spray it twice with your garlic mix during that time, and watch for bugs. Only after that should you move it into your main garden. Third strategy: take away their welcome mat. Aphids and mealybugs target weak, stressed plants. They can actually sense when something's struggling. Keep your plants healthy with proper watering, solid drainage, and balanced fertilizer. Fourth strategy: rotate your pest control. Fourth strategy: rotate your pest control methods. If you use the same treatment every single week, insects can adapt. Here's what I do. Weeks 1 and 2, I use the garlic spray. Week 3, I switch to diluted neem oil. Week 4, I rinse with plain water and inspect everything closely. Then I repeat the cycle. That keeps pests guessing and prevents resistance. Now, what if your plant is already completely overrun? You flip a leaf and see hundreds of aphids crawling around. Don't panic. Here's what to do. First step: take the plant to a hose or sink and blast it with a strong stream of water. That alone will knock off about 60 to 70% of the bugs right away. When you blast the plant with water, be thorough. Just don't snap the stems. If more than half of a branch is covered in pests, cut it off. I know that sounds harsh, but that branch is likely finished anyway. Removing it eliminates thousands of bugs and eggs at once. Just use clean pruning shears. Then spray the plant immediately with your garlic mix. Soak every surface, tops and bottoms of all remaining leaves. Spray again the next day. Normally, I recommend every 5 days, but during a heavy infestation you need back-to-back treatments. Finally, keep the plant isolated for 2 weeks so pests don't spread. After 4 or 5 total sprays, about 95% of serious infestations are gone. Let me share a few real examples. Linda from Oregon sent before and after photos of her roses. On day 1, they were covered in aphids. She sprayed 3 times over 11 days. By day 12, not a single aphid remained, and her roses are blooming beautifully. Marcus in Texas grows tomatoes on his apartment balcony. Whiteflies nearly made him give up. The first spray knocked out about 70%. The second finished them. He harvested 42 tomatoes from 4 plants. Barbara, 72, grows medicinal herbs in my town. She used to spend $15 a month on organic sprays. With this recipe, her total cost for 8 months was under $20. She told me she saved over $200 this year alone. Now, no solution works perfectly every time. Gardening doesn't work that way. Across hundreds of home gardens over the past couple of seasons, this method has consistently cleared up aphids, mealybugs, whiteflies, and ants. The small percentage of failures usually sprayed in direct sun, skipped follow-up treatments, or we're dealing with pests like spider mites or scale that require oil-based sprays. Let's talk money. Store-bought sprays usually cost anywhere from $15 to $30 a bottle, and you have to keep buying them all season long. By the time summer's over, that adds up fast. This mix, about $6 for the entire season. No masks, no waiting periods, no toxic residue. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What pest is giving you trouble right now? Aphids on roses? Mealybugs on succulents? Ants on fruit trees? Rate this formula from 1 to 10 based on whether you'll try it. If you're mixing a batch tonight, give it a 10. If you're unsure, tell me why. I read every comment. If you know someone ready to give up on their tomatoes or roses, share this with them. It could save their whole garden. Let's recap. 1 quart of dechlorinated water. 1 tablespoon garlic powder. 1 tablespoon mild dish soap. Mix well. Spray both sides of leaves during cool hours, early morning or late afternoon. Never in direct sun. Apply 3 times, 5 days apart. Follow those steps and you can eliminate most soft-bodied pests quickly and safely. If you found this information interesting and helpful, go ahead and subscribe to the Still Growing Seniors channel so you don't miss what's coming next. I'm really glad you're here with me. Take what works and try it in your own garden. And if you see results, I'd honestly like to hear about it. Tell me which plant you're planning to protect first. There's always another simple solution out there. Sometimes it's sitting at your local feed store, and sometimes it's already in your kitchen. Thanks for spending this time with me. I hope your soil stays rich, your plants grow strong, and aphids become nothing more than a distant memory. Happy gardening.